And welcome to the conference and welcome to the payments platform modernization conversation. So my name is Jenny Lee. I am the US Wire product head at Bank of America for its global payment solutions business. And what does that mean? And I'm sure many of you would empathize with me in a question like, how do you explain your job to others, especially to someone like your parents? So instead of trying to explain transaction banking or treasury services, I explain that I move trillions of dollars every day across the globe. And when I do that, I need to maximize my product sales and win the market share while managing the risk around my product to ensure everything is in compliance. That's why I feel so passionate about the topic of payments platform modernization. Here, I'm thrilled and honored to have brought this Avengers group of experts together. Head of International Payments at AWS, strategy partner at Deloitte, and engineering leader at Wise. It would be impossible to bring this group of speakers together without this panel event. So let's dive right in, and let me start with Ayeesha. Will you please do a quick introduction of yourself and tell us about the trend and what you hear in the payments platform modernization space from your experience of advising a number of global financial institutions clients.
All right, thanks, Jenny, and thank you all for coming today, and also to the conference for having us speak here. So if I had to explain my job to my parents, they're all in healthcare and medicine, so I kind of say I'm a consultant, so I say doctor for companies, right? And that's the best way it works. But I'm as Jenny said, I'm a partner at Deloitte. I focus on strategy for financial institutions, and I lead a team called FSX. But to answer your question, Jenny, there are about 3 types of payment modernization that we see these days. The first type is legacy payment modernization. So this is really your improvement of systems like wires, ACH, fraud. And the challenge here is really understanding whether to do marginal improvements or whether to pursue wholesale changes and replacements of these systems, which, as you can imagine, can be costly and time consuming. But we are actually seeing more of those wholesale changes these days as all of these systems age. Okay. The second type of modernization is modernization to accommodate new functionality and new regulation. So these are things like real-time payments, pay by bank, open banking. And although these are mandate-driven and have this mandate component, they offer the opportunity for companies to be creative and really take advantage of this deployment of new technology and really target specific use cases, right? So the question here is understanding what they're required to have versus what they could potentially have in the future, right? And how to successfully turn regulation and regulatory mandates into attractive value propositions for their clients and for the companies themselves, okay? Now, the third section is modernization for the future. So this is Gen AI, embedded payments, identity, and retail use cases like data and personalization. To me, this is actually where the excitement lies, right? And Deloitte is actually doing some really interesting things with payments, as well as data simulation, identity, loyalty, AI in this space. It's actually quite interesting how far you can go, right? And this is also the area where traditionally FIs lag and where fintechs excel. This is also the area that merchants are really beginning to use this to differentiate themselves, right? So the challenge here is understanding where you want to play, right? How to use emerging technology to actually provide a payment experience that's easy to use and frictionless for the customer, but also that adds value to your bottom line as a company, and that balance is hard to strike sometimes.
Yeah, I cannot empathize enough about the first factor about legacy platform modernization. And I also often hear that, the many banking systems are COBOL codes based, whereas the college students these days, when they study the development and the technology, they don't really learn the COBOL language anymore. So now it's becoming legacy and stale. But the lash, so bank often have to react to compliance-driven changes and focus their limited resources to those mandated changes, in addition to new payment rails such as RTP. So will you share your view on bank platform modernization using a microservice approach? And please also start with your quick introduction, please.
Thank you so much, and morning everyone. Thanks for coming over. So I'm Nilesh Hussain. I'm the industry lead for institutional payments at AWS. And in my role, we work with customers, financial institutions, and non-financial institutions to help them build payment solutions using cloud technologies. To just echo what Ayeesha was talking about when it comes to modernization, what we are seeing is a change in focus. So when customers, say several years ago, used to start using cloud for payments modernization, they used to follow what we call as a lift and shift model, where they used to take their existing payment applications and move them to the cloud. Over the last several years, what we are seeing is financial institutions and payment companies are re-architecting their payment solutions using cloud native technologies, so they can get the benefits of all the things from a scalability, security standpoint that cloud can offer. Now, one thing which is very important that we've seen over the last few years is a change in focus. And what I mean by that is, a few years ago, the main priority for our customers, like Jenny said, was to meet certain compliance obligations or to go live with a certain service, which we call as time to market, which is how do you accelerate time to market. Now what we are seeing over the last few years is a focus on accelerating time to value. And what we mean by that is, hey, let's not just focus on getting the solution up and running, whether it's on-prem or on cloud, but let's focus on how we can build an integrated experience which can drive adoption for the new solution, new service, new capability that you're building. Now, coming to how our customers are doing that, generally, historically, customers used to always follow, especially banks or payment companies, buy or build, right? Whether you buy a solution from a third-party vendor or you build it on your own, whether it's on-prem or on cloud. What we are seeing is customers are following a slightly different approach, which is they're assembling a payment stack on cloud. So if you think about any payment, whether it's a card-based payment or account-to-account payment, instant payments, things like that, each payment has more or less the same 5-6 processes, right? You authenticate the customer, validate the payment instructions, make the go through the payment rules that you might have as an organization, clearing and settlement, data archival, and then of course customer service. So the approach that we are seeing our customers follow is they tend to focus on their core IP, which is, so let's just say as an institution, you've invested a lot of time, money and effort in building a really rock solid risk management platform. So you can keep that as your own IP. And for the rest of the things that are required for a payment process, you try to find the best possible solution provider or partner with them in the context of APIs or microservices that are available. So as you can imagine, what this helps is customers are then able to very quickly assemble a payment stack and go live with a service that they are willing to offer or they'd like to offer to their customers. And then that not only accelerates time to market, but also time to value. And the last point I'll say is this, which is when it comes to payments, right, especially if they are retail payments or commercial payments or even corporate payments, that end-to-end experience is, if you think about that end-to-end experience, that's what drives the time to value. So if you're a small business and if you integrate your payment service to an accounting platform that a small business might be using, or if you're a retail consumer and you offer your payment service through an embedded payment solution, then the adoption for the new service that you've launched becomes exponentially faster and higher, and that's what we are seeing our customers do in the modern payment stacks that they're building using cloud technologies.
Yeah, I like the stacked, services and the point around it, because you are right that the payments system is very complex, and it will be just impossible to re-transform everything all at once. So think about the end-to-end process from the payment initiation, compliance checking, the available balances, whole throughout the process, and the little piece by piece, how we're going to upgrade and modernize it, I think will be really the key to success. Balazs, will you also please introduce yourself to the audience and also answer this question for me? Given the vast scope of financial services, how should companies determine where to focus their innovation efforts to remain competitive, not just next year, but just for the next decade?
Absolutely. Hi everyone, I'm Balazs. I'm an engineer by trade. So the first question was, does my mother know what I do for a living? Well, my father is also a software engineer, and growing up we've had a lot of like really deep debate at the dinner table, so I think my mother knows more about software engineering than she wanted to. I've been with Wise for the last 8 years. I've worked on our core systems, built our European and US banking infrastructure. I'm currently based in Austin. So to answer this question, I think the summary is play to win, but don't be a one-trick pony. So I will talk you through how we think about Wise. I think about our strategy at Wise for this. So we started with cross-border payments in 2011. And our customers told us that they wanted more from Wise. They wanted a more encompassing financial product. And they told us that they want to keep money with us. So we built the stored value product. Then they told us they wanted a debit card, so we built that. Then they told us that they wanted interest. They wanted to invest in the stock market. So we built all these features into the product. But still, right now, when we go back and we talk to our customers, what they tell us is they want two things. They want faster payments and they want it cheaper. So this makes these prioritization decisions fairly easy. So at first, we need to identify what is our core problem that we want to solve. We've just done that. So what is the strategy that we can apply? For us, it's we need to invest in a low-cost, high-quality infrastructure. And it's important that it's not the other way around. So once we've done that, how can we do this for payments? Well, for us, we need to get as close to the payment scheme as possible. We've built 5 direct integrations around the world, which means that we don't need a banking partner to process payments. We've integrated with the Bank of England in the UK. We've done this in Australia as well, and we've also done this in my home country, Hungary, which I'm really proud of. And building this direct integration was one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever done in my life. There are hundreds of thousands of Hungarians who are living abroad. They're supporting their families, sending money back to them. And the impact of this direct integration was that we were able to offer payments to them 24/7 in an instant way. And also, we've been able to cut the fees by 20%, like overnight after the direct integration was done. So this is our strategy, and this is what we want to replicate and do over and over again. So the next step of this algorithm is how can we streamline this process? How can we make it as simple and as easy as possible? And here we've invested a lot into making our systems and the connection to the payment scheme super easy and super fast to build. So this is the core value proposition. This is the recipe for that. But what about the second part of the question? All the other products that we have to build. So I'd like to ask you a question to help us like settle this. So how many of you have more than 3 financial apps on your phone? Okay, vast majority. Yeah, me too. And how many of you would like to have a single app that does everything? Domestic payments, investments. Okay, I would also call that a majority. So that's my second point. You cannot be a one-trick pony. It's not the right time to let your customers download other financial apps because they might like it too much. So this is where the solution is the power of the APIs, find partners and build alliances with companies that can make your value proposition a whole.
Yeah, no, I feel for you because I also am originally from Seoul, South Korea, and having to, wanting to send funds from US to South Korea using different payment rails. I do have a lot of experience around that as well. And I also really like your point about the power of API. I think it does provide a flexibility for large or small organizations to quickly transform as they want. I think that's really the key technology in the modern payments technology there. So Ayeesha, and maybe Balazs can chime in after that. What's your recommended strategy for the companies looking to transform their payments technology, FI or non-FI, when making a decision between a vendor solution versus in-house technology?
Yeah, sure, Jenny. So I think one of the things we need to level set on is technology adoption, right? And we all know that the technology adoption curve is becoming shorter and shorter. So think about, bear with me for a few seconds, I'm gonna list off a few stats for you. So when the telephone was released, right, it took 75 years to get to 100 million users, okay? After that, mobile phones, 16 years, the internet, 7 years, Twitter, 5, WhatsApp 3.5 years, Instagram 2.5, TikTok 9 months, and ChatGPT 2 months to 100 million users. Right? It's bananas how quickly new tech is being adopted and how customers are getting used to it so quickly. So this is the world we live in now. Right? So for FIs and non-FIs, the question is really, what is your core competency as an institution? Is it really building bespoke technology, right? And that's an important question because unless you're willing to invest the resources, and by resources I mean time, money, and people, then it's probably worth partnering, right? Because that evolution of the technology is becoming more and more important, and staying current is paramount. So if you do partner, one of the things though is to really structure your back end so that it's modular, so that you can swap out partners, you can swap out capabilities as you need, and it's less costly and doesn't take as much time. But answering that question about what is your core competency and focusing on that as your competitive advantage is really key. Okay.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think this has been always true, and it's more true today than ever before, that there's no shortage of good ideas. Like success of an organization is going to be determined by how fast you can go through your ideas, validate them, get feedback from customers, and iterate. And the rate of change, as you just explained, has grown so fast, and I think that also the appearance of Gen AI is also going to further accelerate this growth. And it's actually pretty interesting to think about what the impact can be on the developer experience. So currently, if you're using these tools which are helping engineers writing the code, it feels like the impact is like there is a really good senior engineer sitting next to you, giving you advice, which is great. But in a couple of years, this can change to there is 10 engineers next to you, and one engineer can do the work of 10 engineers, or later on, 100 engineers. And it's not too far-fetched to say that at a certain time it's going to be possible to for an AI to actually build a product, write the code, test it, release it on AWS. AWS is going to optimize the infrastructure that you're going to need for it, and that's going to be a really interesting role.
Great, yeah. And Wise is also our platinum strategy clients, and we really always appreciate the relationship here. So Nilesh, what do you think is the most critical strategy in making a payments platform truly future-proof, which is our title, can monolithic infrastructure still be an answer versus microservices?
Sure. So it's like this, right? If anybody, if it's a bank or a payments company, if we were to build a payments application or an architecture today from scratch, we would use all the latest technologies and tools that are available at our disposal. Having said that, in the real world, we have to deal with legacy systems because we've invested a lot of time, money, and effort in those systems or building those systems. It also has a lot of custom rules or custom IP that we have invested in those legacy systems. So what we see our customers do is follow a parallel path, which is number one is, like Ayeesha was saying, they have a modular, flexible core, if you will, which can then be used to connect to the best parts of the legacy systems that they might have, or the new partners that are coming on board, partners like Wise and other companies who offer the best possible solution for a specific use case. So building that flexible architecture is the starting point. And then as your business needs change, so in the payments world, since we are in a regulated industry, generally customers react to one of three things. They don't change IT infrastructure just for the sake of changing it, right? They are reacting to business changes in the sense that, okay, I want to launch a new service like a cash management and a treasury platform for my corporate clients. Or I have to comply with compliance obligations like ISO 20022 upgrades. Or there might be tech debt, right? The old systems might not be scaling, or they might be at the end of life. So use those as catalysts to create a parallel payment stack. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two is show initial success and learn from that experience. So let's just say, since we are in the US, FedNow was launched last year, and if as an institution you want to offer real-time payment services to your customers, use that as a catalyst to build a parallel payment stack or assemble a parallel payment stack. Go live with FedNow as an example, learn from that, and as you get more and more comfortable with that parallel stack that you have, then you start thinking about migrating the transaction volume from your legacy stack to the newer stack. If you start to think about a big project where you want to modernize your entire enterprise-wide payments infrastructure, that's never going to happen because it easily can take multiple years and lots and lots of resources and money, and more importantly, the results that you expect to see from that modernization effort will be several years out. So what we are seeing is customers run two parallel stacks. They try to go live with whatever their business objective is, and then as they get comfortable with the new stack, they start moving the volume from the existing stack to the newer stack that they are building.
Yeah, no, it's really, I feel really the ISO 20022 changes were big. It's sort of a mandated changes. You have to do it to stay in the businesses. That was big. And I also think, the world kind of going towards a 24/7.
Yeah.
Balazs, feel free to chime in with that strategy for the future proof.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to add to this is exactly as you talk through the power of creating a distributed system and making it possible for you to integrate really fast is an absolute must. So your engineering team has to be strong enough to go deep and improve your core value proposition, but they absolutely must be strong enough to bring on a partner and add value for the product that way. And if you think about the multiplier effect, well, if we take Wise, it took us 13 years to get where we are today. And we've built a Wise, and we maintain 65 licenses globally. And what we are proposing with our Wise platform is you can offer everything that we offer in our applications just with an integration. So it took us 13 years to build it. You could add it to your product today, just in like a couple of months, if your architecture allows it.
Yeah, just to add on to what Balazs said, right, which is the newer technologies that are available at our disposal. In fact, no conversation that we are going to have today here is going to be complete without talking about Gen AI. So use those technologies to offer better customer experiences or improve developer productivity. That's what we are seeing our customers do, which is the rate at which you can build new applications. If you use tools like Gen AI and others, you can perhaps get to market faster. So if things were taking, say, several months for you to go live with newer technologies and newer tools, you can get it done faster with the right controls in place. So you can also use Gen AI for improving customer experiences. So if customer service is the natural fit that we are seeing all over the world in terms of using Gen AI, but you can also use that for preventing fraud. Look at transaction patterns that customers might be doing, and then use Gen AI or machine learning or AI to proactively alert the customers around, hey, we're seeing this unusual transaction on your account. Is this really your transaction, or should we try to do something about it to prevent that potentially fraudulent transaction from happening?
Yeah.
So by combining these different technologies that are available, you can really build newer experiences for our customers.
Yeah,
And
no, I appreciate
Just
it.
quickly, one thing to add in on about Gen AI is, you mentioned the fraud use case and the customer experience use case, but one of the first use cases we're actually seeing a lot of clients gravitate towards is operational efficiency as well. So based on what you guys said, it helps both on the front end when you're looking at customer interactions and customer support and contact centers and things like the chatbots have gotten much better, but it also occurs on the back end, and it really helps when it comes to the engineers themselves, right, and actually building some of these tools and really reducing that burden as well. So
Yeah, no, I love that point because Bank of America also one wire platform services from the largest bank and institutional clients to a retail customer wire needs as well. So I really like your point about the operational efficiencies and the effectiveness there. So finally, closing thoughts, each of you, please will you give a quick prediction of 2025 and beyond from the payments platform modernization perspective? Maybe start with you, Ayeesha.
Sure. So from my perspective, it's for 2025 and beyond, it's really data is king or queen, right? If you think about where the world is heading, right? Again, we got new open banking regulations from the CFPB last week. We have Gen AI, as we were talking about, integrating into almost everything. We have more and more demand from customers for more modern payment experiences, omni-channel experiences, and the common thread here is data, right? And so we are actually seeing more and more investment in this space, and that's not only from a storage and management perspective, but also from an analytics and insights perspective. We're also seeing more consortiums being built from industry partners to actually share that data, which is fantastic. So here it's really about having to know your customers, and in this new era that means something different than it did before. So really paying attention to that data and understanding it is going to be important.
Great. Nash.
Yeah, so we are seeing two trends happening over the next few years. Number one is the focus on value-added services. So financial institutions and payment companies are no longer going to be just offering basic banking or payment products. They are going to be offering value-added services which are going to be leveraged based on data or customer experiences or other things, and then the payment application can be wrapped, or payment service can be wrapped into that value-added service. So as an example, if you're a bank and you want to service corporates, for example, you might be offering a cash flow forecasting solution, and the payment and banking products would be wrapped into that value-added service. So that's one trend that we are seeing across the board, not just for retail consumers, but for commercial customers and corporate customers. The second trend we are seeing is from a standpoint of offering or building payment solutions, the focus would be a lot on services. And what I mean by that is financial institutions and payment companies would be subscribing to services for specific payment needs that they are trying to build for their customers. Instead of building a big monolithic application, they'll subscribe to services from different best possible solution providers out there, and then try to go live with those solutions for their customers as quickly as possible.
Okay. Balazs, you have 30 seconds or less, or like 20 seconds.
I think that the rate of change is going to be even faster. It's going to push companies to make alliances that seem unlikely today, and this all will lead to innovation and maybe even a deflationary environment where payments get cheaper and faster, and all this will be available for more people than today.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you
so much for joining us today. And I hope you enjoyed the panel discussion. I hope you continue to enjoy the conference. We will be around in the back of the stage if you want to come over to talk to us. But thank you again for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.